everybody. Okay, so this is my video about my journey through my breast augmentation. I wanted to do this just kind of as a diary for me, but also for anybody who, I don't know, wants information or wants to know about my experience. There's a lot of YouTubers who do BA journeys, and I know that before, when I went through it, that's what I watched, and that was kind of part of my research. Okay, so to start everything off, I just want to talk about, first of all, the reason why I decided to have a breast augmentation. And it's really simple. I had no boobs. I was a 32A before I got my augmentation, and I'll put pictures in this video of what I was before, because I didn't record any video before, even though I wanted to. I was just too excited. So I'll put pictures about my before journey, and then I will continually upload my progress throughout the year, so you can see how it's going. Okay, so I guess I'll just start off with everything before. Before, I was a 32A. I already said that. I had almost no breast tissue. I was very flat-chested. My ribs stuck out farther than my boobs did, and that just didn't make me feel very good about myself. And I'm a very confident person, and I'm very confident in my body image, but that was the one thing I could never get past. I was tired of looking like a 13-year-old girl, and I'm almost 26. So being called cute as opposed to, sexy was just getting really, really old. And so I had been thinking about this for a very long time, probably since high school. I could always remember, gosh, I want boobs. Why won't my boobs grow like hers? What am I doing wrong? Am I just not eating right? Or I don't know what's happening. Part of the reason is because I was always very athletic ever since I was a little kid. I was always running around or outside. I was playing sports all the time. I was never sitting still. I was never inside. And another part of it was also my diet. It's like, I'm a very small person. I eat like a bird. I don't eat a lot. And you're lucky if I finish my plate, because it never happens. So I think a combination of those plus my genetics was probably why I just never grew boobs. And I grew up in a family of 3 children, including me. Both of my younger sisters, because I'm the oldest, both of my younger sisters both developed like a woman is, I guess, supposed to. I mean, there's really no right and wrong way to develop, but they developed the way I wanted to develop up here, and it just never happened for me. And when people think that you're the youngest and your 18-year-old sister looks older than you, it kind of makes you feel bad. I mean, I like looking young, but I don't want people to think that I'm 16. Okay, so to start off my journey, I actually work with 2 girls who had, well, I work with a few girls who had breast augmentations. And so I was just kind of asking them questions about what they did and what the process was. 2 of them went to the same doctor that I decided to go to, and I really love his work. He's amazing. I went to Dr. Leonard Hochstein. He's down in Miami, Florida. He's done so many boob jobs, and he does even more than that. He does like facelifts and mommy makeovers and just all this stuff, and he's really, really good. So I decided to go to him, and I live in Nashville, Tennessee, so it was a long journey down to Miami. I decided that I was going to save up for this last year, and I have been saving up and saving up and saving up. I finally had enough for the deposit. I was not sure if I wanted to finance them or not, and luckily I didn't have to finance them. I ended up paying them off completely before my surgery, which is amazing, because that's one last thing I need in my life is another loan. I saved, I got the deposit, and I made my date, and that was back in like March is when I did the deposit and made my date. My surgery was July 10th in the morning, so I needed to be there one day prior for my pre-op exam, because I do live outside of Miami, my doctor was courteous enough to do an over-the-phone consultation with me, and I sent him pictures of my boobs as they were, and I told him what I was looking for as far as cup size, and he was okay with that. And over the phone he said we were going to do around 400 cc's, and I was okay with that because I knew that was a full C for me. We would go from there once I got down to Miami. So before I went to Miami, everybody was asking how many cc's I'm going to get. And this is a big pet peeve of mine. I would tell them I was getting 400 cc's, and they would all freak out. They would say, "Oh, you're going to be huge, you're going to be so big, that's going to be way too big for you." First of all, not all boobs are the same. My friend, who's actually a full D, had 450 cc's, which is what I actually ended up getting, but I'll talk about that later. She had 450 cc's. She's a full cup size bigger than me, but that's also because she had more breast tissue than I did. Your amount of cc's does not guarantee you're going to have gigantic boobies, okay? So just because somebody tells you a big number in cc's does not mean that it's going to come out looking like porn star boobs. Another kind of pet peeve of mine, but while I was going on this journey, since I did have to wait so long, and I did end up telling a couple of people about it. It was usually men who said this to me, but this is just something that bothers me, and I don't know if it bothers any of the other women who have had breast augmentations or are thinking about it, but every time I would mention it, a guy would say, "Oh, you don't need to do that. You shouldn't do that. Don't do that to yourself. You're perfect the way you are." Okay, I don't know if you guys mean it to be like a compliment, but that's not a compliment. All I want to hear from you when I tell you something that personal is, "Well, I'm glad you're doing it for you," or "You do what you need to do to make yourself feel better," or something like that, something encouraging. Don't put me down because I want to do something for myself to make me feel better about myself. So I just got tired of it, and I just ended up not telling anybody anymore because I didn't want to fight with them. So the reason I got my boobs is because I wanted them. Here are some other reasons I got boobs. 1, clothes don't fucking fit women who don't have tits. We have to wear padded bras all the time, and they are not comfortable, okay? Wearing a padded bra with underwire just to make it look like you have boobs is not fun. It leaves marks, it doesn't stay down because you have nothing to put in them, and they just move around all the time. Part 2 of that is I wanted to feel sexy in a bathing suit. And I felt good in a bathing suit. I have a good body. But, you know, there's something about a rite of passage here. About being able to squeeze your boobs together while you flirt. And I could never do that. My boobs had never met each other. Moving forward to the trip to Miami. So me and my friend, we got on the airplane. We had a connecting flight airplane because it's cheaper. So we got on the airplane around 10 or 11, and we got to our connecting flight about 30 minutes later. I don't know why it couldn't just go straight, but whatever. We arrived in Miami around 4 or 5 o'clock. And instead of booking a hotel, because I was already going to be broke after that, I didn't need $1,000 stay for the whole week in Miami. We actually did Airbnb. It's a really cool website where people can list their apartments that they live in, or just extra condos that they have, or even like campers for you to rent for however many days you need to stay in. And I actually found one that was really awesome, and so I ended up renting that for like $600 as opposed to the $1,200 that they wanted from the hotels. And we ended up doing Uber cabs the whole time, which was pretty awesome. I love Uber so much. They saved our butts. So the next day we went to my consultation. That was at 3 o'clock. I met with the coordinator who I had been emailing back and forth about the surgery and all the technical issues. And we went over my prescriptions that I would need to go get filled that night, because you have to have your prescriptions with you before you go to surgery so that they can give you your pain pill as soon as you get out of surgery, which you will want. And then we went over, like, I guess a list of rules of can and can'ts, and you know, the medicine, like the biocorneum that you rub on your scars to make your scars go away, and all that jazz, all the technical stuff. So I signed forms and anything involving paperwork I did that day. And then we went into a room and I met up with Dr. Hochstein, and he looked at my breast tissue in person to see what was going on in this area. And he actually let me, I don't know what they're called. He had a bunch of different, like, silicone implants, that, not the real implant, but just something so you can see the size you're getting. And he had a test bra and a tank top. And so he gave me 3 options to start out with. One was like 300 cc's, one was like 350, and one was 397, something like that. And so I tried them all on, and the tip that I got from a lot of ladies who had their breast augmentation, even from the nurse who had her breast augmentation, she said, always go one size bigger than what you think you want, because if you don't, you're going to regret it. If you're stuck in between 2 sizes, always go for the bigger one, because you're going to be happier with it. And I definitely took that advice. So I started off with the smallest one. I didn't like it. It wasn't big enough for me. So that one was out quick. And then I went to the middle one. The middle one was better. I still wasn't, like, sure about it. Like, I liked it a lot better than the small one, but I wanted to try the biggest one on just in case. So I tried the 397 cc on, and I loved it even without the tank top on, but my friend was like, I don't know, I kind of like the middle one better. I was like, hold on, let me put that tank top on. And so I put the tank top on, and it changed it so dramatically, and I loved what it looked like under clothing. So definitely, if there is clothing around and you get to try, put your shirt on with the test bra on, because you'll get to see what's going to look best in your clothing for you. So I ended up going with the 397, and so when my doctor came in, I told him the size that I liked, and he said, okay, so you're going the bigger one, which means we're going to need to do the high profile implants, because I am so narrow right here. And normal implants, they come out farther on the sides, so since I'm so narrow, he didn't want me to, like, be bumping them all the time, or them to just look weird. So I have ultra high profile implants, which means they are always going to stick out further in front of me as opposed to the sides of me, which I honestly like that a lot more anyway. I was really happy that he suggested that. He also told me we were going to go under the muscle, and that I would need to add 50 cc's to my size. The size I got was 450 cc's, and that put me at a full C. And we also decided to go through the nipple, which I liked because you can't really see well, I mean, I still have my stitches and my tape, but the scar's not going to be as noticeable there, and I really didn't want it under here, because all of the bras I'm wearing right now definitely hit that spot, even though they're not like anything. They're just sports bras. So I'm glad I got it through the nipple. Surgery day! So I wasn't allowed to eat or drink anything after midnight, and I'm so happy my surgery was in the morning, because I don't think I could have lasted much longer. After midnight, I was just like, oh great, I can't drink anything, now I'm really thirsty. Hooray. So, okay, I go in the morning. It's about like 7 a.m. We're there. I have no makeup, my hair is not done. I'm basically wearing pajamas to this surgery, which you will want to do. I had just my Power Ranger hoodie that zipped up in the front, because you won't be able to move to put a shirt on. There's no way. So we get in there and we go to the back. I'm super nervous because I have never had a surgery. I've never been put to sleep. I've never had an IV. Like, this is all brand new to me. So I go in the back and I'm just sitting. I'm excited, but I'm so nervous, and my friend can tell, and she's laughing at me. So they do like a pregnancy test, and they do a urine sample. Sorry guys, my camera died, and I didn't realize it until I had already changed. So I think the last thing I was talking about was the IV. So I got my IV put in, and she shot some cold stuff up my arm, and it was really uncomfortable. And I don't like IVs, and it felt like a weird foreign object was in my hand. So I had to sit with that, and for the whole time before my surgery it was terribly uncomfortable. And then we went back to the room for where my doctor is, and he marked all the places where my cleavage was going to be and the incision points and all that jazz. And then I got whisked away to the operating room, strapped to a table, and then they put some like leg warmer things on my legs, and those were really fun because they massaged my legs to keep my circulation going. Really, the rest of that's a blur. I remember the anesthesiologist coming in and something got shot at my arm and it burned, and then they put the gas mask on me, and the last thing I remember was breathing really deeply because I was super terrified that I wasn't going to fall asleep. He didn't even tell me that he had already like started the anesthesia. The next thing I remember, I just woke up and I looked down and I was like, do I have boobs? Yes, I have boobs and they hurt. And I was really thirsty when I came out of the coma that I got put in, and it was unpleasant because I was also in pain. So I looked for a nurse and I asked her for some water. She helped me sit up. She asked if I was ready to go home. I said yes. Got a cab. It was the most uncomfortable car ride home though, because every bump, every turn, it hurt so much. And then I was basically on the couch for a long time. I was on the couch for a good 3 days, other than going to the bed to sleep, because I could not move. The oxycodone just put me to sleep, and a lot of people say it keeps them up, but it knocked me out. So I slept for like the first 3 or 4 days. By the 5th day, I was okay enough to go do something. We actually went to the mall, and it was good. It was a good day. And then, sorry, I'm saying a lot. Trying to remember what I said in the other video that didn't record. So, on the 6th day of our stay, I went back to his office. I got my bandages off, and he looked and he made sure everything was looking good. Everything was looking amazing, and then we headed home the next day, and then we were home. And in the next part, I will show you what they look like now, and then before I show you what they look like now, I'm going to show you pictures of what I used to look like.